Hey, I'm Michelle with Shell Creative. If you are ready to get your Searchie Hub up today and start making money tomorrow, take a second, hit subscribe, and click that bell. That way, you'll be notified when another one of our helpful videos comes out. You have ideas for great content, you have a plan, you might even have an adorable custom inflatable. But do you need a searchy website? And what about a custom domain? If you have an online business, you might be asking yourself, do I need a website before I build a searchy hub? What about a domain? Wait, aren't they the same thing? In today's video, we'll break down the wild love triangle of domains, websites, and searchy. First, when people ask about searchy and domains and websites for their business, sometimes there's a little confusion, and understandably so. Let's do a quick little vocabulary lesson. A website is a collection of web pages used to display information to users. YouTube is a website. Searchy.io is a website. We all have visited thousands and thousands of websites, right? An example is my website, shellcreative.org. If you want to contact me to put your Searchy Hub up, you click on the Searchy Success page. If you want to read my helpful blog, you click the blog page. If you want to contact me, you click on the contact page. That's a website, right? A custom domain is the name of the website that users type in to find your business. It's what you put in the URL up at the top, right? So my custom domain is shellcreative.org. If you type that into your search bar, you'll find me. So what happens when Searchie joins the website domain mix? Searchie is a course and membership platform designed so you can create, manage, and sell your content on one platform. Searchie integrates with applications that you already use, so you can easily bring your content into Searchie where it will be hosted for your users. So let's say you're ready to rock Searchie. Woo! Can you skip securing a custom domain, or do you need to research what's available to buy a custom domain for your business? The short answer is no, because Searchie provides you with a domain for your hub. Let's take a look at that. So every Searchie hub comes with a domain. This is just a testing hub that I use, but you can see here that Searchie has given me a hub URL. And this is the URL that you'll give to your users so that they can get in and access the hub material. No need to have anything fancy. If you just want to get started, get going, and get your content out to your users. That's the number one benefit of just using the domain that Searchie team gives you. Now, when would you want to use a custom domain? So there's two scenarios. The first one is when you want to be able to talk frequently about your domain and have your users easily access it. So let's say you've got a webinar coming up and you want to tell users to go to like this to my shellyesmembers.com site. That's a domain that I have applied to one of my hubs. Let's say you're talking about that and you want to send members directly there. It's so much easier to say, hey, go to shellyesmembers.com instead of going to app.searchie.io/hub/capital K, capital B, you get the point, right? So much easier in situations where you want to be talking about that domain to use a custom domain. The second thing is that sometimes it is more professional, right? To have this sort of a link just shared amongst people, it looks a little more professional to not have all the different letters and numbers and everything, and just have something that's easy for your user to read and to recognize. But think about your own experience. I mean, if I said to you, go to app.searchy.com, blah, 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 and go find it, I mean, how hard is that to remember, right? But saying to people, go to shellyesmembers.com and there it is, find it right away. So easy. So think about your own experience. Now, back to my original point, a custom domain with Searchie can be a little tricky to set up. So, if again, that's going to be a barrier for you to get your content out and get going tomorrow, then skip it. Just take the easy way. Get your content up, get your program launched, get your members inside, and deal with the complexity of setting up a custom domain a little bit later. The third and final point on that is sometimes it does help to build trust with your users. If you're new to business or new to online entrepreneurship, sometimes it can be a little bit easier to establish trust with people if the domain looks recognizable and something that they can read and understand. That's just another minor factor to keep in mind as you make this decision. Now, you may not know about custom domains. So, one of the things that I suggest is Google domains. It makes it easy to type in a suggested domain. Here's some idea that you might have, see if it's available. And the other thing that I like about using Google domain is that they're not always pushing you upsells for, buy this, buy that. I mean, they do offer you things, but it's not a heavy push. So you can come in here, set up your domain, be charged every month, and it's pretty straightforward and pretty simple. It's also, I feel, a lot easier to connect the domain with Searchy using Google domains. And if you're interested in that, that is part of my VIP experience that I offer, is helping you to set up the custom domain inside of your Searchy account. So this is I think the best place, best, easiest place. Just that you know, all the pricing is about the same between all the domain services. There isn't really a huge difference in price, so that isn't something to take into consideration. They all run about the same thing, unless you're purchasing some really fancy domain. That does affect the name, the price of the domain. Now, sometimes you might have a situation where you will want to have more than one domain. So let's say that you've got, Shell Creative, like I do, for example, but you're going to have a membership and you're going to have a course. So do you need a different domain for each of those offerings? And the answer is you could, and it might help your users to be able to distinguish between those two different things. But you can also use what's called a subdomain. So you could have, for example, and I'll just type it in here. So members dot oops dot shellcreative.org, and that's how it would work in the Searchy system. So maybe that would be what you would use for your members or for your membership. And then maybe you would have course.shellcreative.org or, Searchy course. And that would be the name of one. And then maybe Hub Up course would be another one. So the benefit to doing this is that you're using the same domain, shellcreative.org, and you're just putting another name to help sort of pre-qualify it in the front. Now, one of the things that you're going to use in order to get your custom domain at Searchie is a tool called Cloudflare. It's free, but Searchie does require you to use Cloudflare in order to make the transfer. So I do believe that a Cloudflare allows up to 5 subdomains, meaning that this information that you're putting here before the name, I believe that it offers five of those. So keep that in mind. You don't necessarily have to buy a different domain for each of your different products or offers or hubs. So um, you may need to buy an additional domain if you want to, and it's fairly reasonable and easy to do that if you do decide that is the route that you want to go. Now, the last thing to keep in mind is, where do you put this domain? Do I need a website in order to do that? And do I need a Searchie website? Well, that's a whole nother bag of worms, is Searchie websites. But one of the things to note is that you're going to take this domain, and this is the domain, whether it's a custom domain or not. And that's what you're going to share on your website. Maybe you have a sales page there talking about your course or your membership. You're going to have, maybe you have a sales funnel somewhere. You can put the link to your hub there. If you're going to make your offer through, email or through social media, you can use the domain there. So the point is, you don't have to have a website in order to do that. You can take this link and you can embed it on your website if you do have one, as a way to direct users toward either the Searchie Hub in terms of use, using it as a user of your course or your membership or your coaching or whatever, or perhaps maybe if you're using it on a sales page, then to direct them to the payment page. And I have other helpful videos on setting up the Searchie Stripe integration and the ins and outs of that if you're more curious about that.